Tiger! Destruction!
Sagat, the king of Muay Thai. His intimidating appearance and personality have made him one of the most difficult bosses to face in the Street Fighter games. In this episode, we will talk about the origins of Sagat, the history of his fighting style, and we're also going to talk about his techniques and movements, Sagat and his martial arts, in this episode of the Street Fighterverse. Welcome to the Street Fighterverse. Sagat was created by Takashi Nishiyama and Keiji Inafune. The concept of Sagat is said to be inspired by a real-life Muay Thai fighter named Sagat Pet-Yindi. Sagat Pet-Yindi is a former Muay Thai professional boxer, Muay Thai fighter, actor, and trainer, who is considered to be one of the greatest Muay Thai fighters of all time. 3 times Lumpini, 3 times Rajadamnern champion, and Muay Thai and kickboxing champion. It is said that Sagat Pet-Yindi amassed a total of 317 Thai boxing fights, with 266 wins, 40 losses, and 11 draws. 151 of those victories coming by way of knockout and technical knockout. It is also said that Sagat may have been inspired by the Muay Thai lord Reiba, a character from the manga Karate Baka Ichidai. Karate Master is a Japanese manga drawn by Jiro Tsunoda and Hoya Kagemaru, with the story written by Iki Kajiwara. The story was inspired by the life of the real-life martial artist Mas Oyama. Evidence can be seen in Sagat's Street Fighter IV alternate costume. Also, in his Street Fighter profile he is called the Dark Lord Emperor of Muay Thai, which shares the same title as the character Reiba in the Karate Master manga. The events that transpire in the Street Fighter universe mimics to the ones from Reiba from Karate Master, where the main protagonist defeats other Muay Thai users to prove his skills to Reiba. It is said that the co-creator of Street Fighter, Finish Hiroshi, states that the style Sagat uses is modeled by dramatic television kickboxing personalities, most of the time centered in the Muay Thai theme. It is said that Sagat's tiger theme is based on the tale of King Suriembodi, nicknamed the Siamese Tiger King, who competed in Muay Thai competition and was one of the greatest fighters in his prime. The concept of the tiger and dragon can be seen in Eastern Asian culture for many years. They have been considered worthy adversaries. The dragon is synonymous with the sky and the spirit, also the yang affinity. The tiger resembles earth and matter, and the yin affinity. This explains the relationship between Ryu and Sagat's rivalry. Ryu's name translated means dragon, and Sagat's theme is tiger. Pretty cool if you ask me. Sagat is a strong-willed fighter. He is proud of his Muay Thai martial arts, and is willing to go toe-to-toe with anyone to prove his skills. He is a hard-working, powerful fighter. His height and physical appearance make him a very threatening-looking character. After the events of Ryu's battle, where he lost and got scarred in the confrontation, Sagat drew power from the memories of his loss. His purpose later was defined by the heart of battle. As a person, Sagat feels deep guilt and shame for killing Go Hibiki, the father of Dan Hibiki. Go Hibiki hurts Sagat's eye, the reason as to why he wears an eye patch. Later in life, Dan Hibiki faces Sagat. Out of respect, Sagat lets him win, seeing how easily hatred can corrupt his soul. Sagat later in the series became a good guy and changed his ways. In Street Fighter X Tekken, he helps Dhalsim find and rescue village children. Even when offered the mighty power of Pandora, Sagat refuses, stating that a king like him doesn't need the power of the gods. It makes the children's safety his top priority. Pandora is the name of a mysterious cubical object that fell from space and crash-landed on Earth. It is the main plot point in the story of Street Fighter X Tekken. Sagat appreciates opponents that are worthy and strong-minded, while greatly despising people who take unfair and dishonest advantages in combat. His win quotes show him to be a proud and belittling man. This has long since given way to a more honest, advisory side that still contains his characteristics straight-to-the-point bluntness. The Thai word Sagat means to intercept or to stop something from advancing. It can be interpreted to mean guardian or protector. Sagat is an original, unplayable boss character from the initial Capcom Street Fighter I roster. Sagat became playable in upcoming updates of the Street Fighter series. Sagat was a former member of the Shadowloo terrorist organization and personal bodyguard of Bison. Sagat is of tall, muscular build. His height is 7 feet 5 inches. His original gear were purple trunks with yellow trims. He also wrapped his hands and feet. He is the 4th tallest character in the Street Fighter franchise, behind the likes of T-Hawk, Hugo, and Abigail. Sagat was the only character from the initial lineup in Street Fighter that was created by another artist. Sagat's Muay Thai focuses on crushing, hard-hitting blows. He is known for his Tiger Shot. Sagat gathers chi in his hand and propels his fists together forwards in order to fire a vertical crescent-shaped energy projectile. Sagat also uses the Tiger Uppercut, known as the multi-hit Tiger Blow in the Alpha series, an anti-air similar to Ken and Ryu's Shoryuken. Throughout his appearances, the move has become a single-hit attack with increased priority. He possesses the Tiger Knee as well, which works as an approach and a longer distance punishment. The moves were created by Street Fighter planner Hiroshi Matsumoto. Due to Ryu and Ken being shorter than Sagat, Hiroshi noticed that Sagat's punches and kicks were not hitting them. Since Sagat was the final boss, he created Tiger Shot, a move that can hit Ryu and Ken reliably while beating out their Hadouken. Sagat was born in Thailand, a country in which his Muay Thai style of fighting is very famous. Formerly known as Siam, and officially the Kingdom of Thailand, is a country in Southeast Asia. It is located at the center of the Indo-Chinese Peninsula, with a population of over 66 million people. Thailand is bordered to the north by Myanmar and Laos, to the east by Laos and Cambodia, to the south by the Gulf of Thailand and Malaysia, and to the west by the Andaman Sea and the southern extremity of Myanmar. It also shares maritime borders with Vietnam in the Gulf of Thailand to the southeast, and Indonesia and India on the Andaman Sea to the southwest. Bangkok is the nation's capital and largest city. Adon is well built and lean, with broad shoulders and a muscular back. While shorter than Sagat, he is taller than Ryu. In the original Street Fighter, his hair was short and spiky, but in later games, it is done up in a flat top style. His hair is always colored either orange or red, depending on the artist. His eyes are fierce, and he almost always has a conniving wild smile on his face, reflective of his personality. Adon wears his trunks resembling his former mentors, though the yellow stripe pattern on his trunks forms a V-shape, while Sagat simply have 2 stripes running down the legs. And in his Shadowloo CRI profile art, Adon's trunks have the word Miracle written on his waistline. Adon also wears wraps on his hands and feet like Sagat, though his are smaller than his counterpart due to his smaller size. Unlike Sagat, who apparently did away with his ceremonial Muay Thai gear, Adon wears the traditional mongkong on his forehead and pradyat on both biceps. These articles of clothing were worn by Muay Thai fighters in the rings as both proof of ability and good luck charm. Adon is shown to have a large ego and is quite cocky, as well as boastful to the point of true arrogance, desiring to be seen as the god of Muay Thai. He also tends to belittle and look down upon most other fighters, like his former master. Adon seeks self-aggrandization and strength above all else. He has never demonstrated a single act of friendship, humility, or kindness towards any other character throughout the series. Adon was born from a poor family in Thailand. When he was 5 years old, his father took him to the Khmer ruins for the first time, where many fighters challenged the Muay Thai Emperor Nguyen, his father included. Emperor Nguyen is a character from the Street Fighter series, introduced through the Shadowloo CRI character profiles. Nguyen is a tall and strong man, and despite his bulk, he has great stamina and is able to move at high speed. His special move is an invincible knee kick named the Hanuman Kick. Nguyen was born in a poor village, but following a harsh training led him to become a legend known as the Emperor of Muay Thai. Adon then wished to grow stronger, and one day challenged Nguyen. Some years later, a young man named Sagat managed to defeat Nguyen, and Adon was impressed with their intense battle. Adon asked Sagat to make him his disciple. Adon became Sagat's student 3 years after Sagat became the god of Muay Thai, frequently likened to a lesser version of Sagat. Even though he strives to differentiate himself with more acrobatic techniques, Adon enters the first World Warrior Tournament to prove he is more than that. The cocky Adon lets his guard down when he faces Ryu, who takes him out with a single Shoryuken. Afterwards, Ryu goes on to defeat Sagat. This is the famous scene from the Street Fighter II animated movie. where Ryu's Shoryuken leaves a nasty scar on Sagat's chest. In the Udon comics Street Fighter Classic, The New Challengers Volume 2, on the bonus round chapter called Master and Apprentice, it gives a glimpse of what happened 5 days later, after Sagat lost to Ryu in the Street Fighter tournament. It all starts in the country of Sagat's nationality, Thailand. Sagat finds himself in the ruins with a thoughtful and defeated stance. Suddenly, at the distance, you can hear Adon, and I quote, "Sagat, you have disgraced the name of Muay Thai, and let that Ryu makes fool of us all." We found Adon's action to be disrespectful to his master. In win or defeat, you should always respect your teacher. It clearly depicts Adon's attitude towards everyone and everything. Sagat replies, "Leave me, Adon." You can feel it by looking at the image. Sagat's first warning to Adon. He is really pushing Sagat's temper when he continues his rant saying, "I cannot believe I looked up to you as my teacher. I always thought you had the answers to becoming the ultimate warrior. Maybe it's time for me to start doing the teaching." As Adon leaps forward in an attack position towards Sagat and attacks shouting, he shouts, "Pathetic. Have you lost your will to fight?" It is pretty obvious that Sagat's will and confidence had been shattered by his devastating loss against Ryu, Adon taking advantage of that fact. We found Adon to be a bully in this moment, with no regards to his idol's suffering or emotional stance. While on the floor, Sagat looks devastated, getting beaten down by Adon without any reaction. On the attack, Adon shouts, "Answer me." As the outside noises and commotion start to fade, Sagat in his mind wonders and says, "Could he be right? Could I have lost my fighting spirit when Ryu scarred me? Never. I lost because I grew complacent and self-satisfied. In my arrogance, I forgot what it was to be hungry for victory and fight with all of my heart and soul. The path to being the greatest is a never-ending one, and to defeat Ryu, I would need to better myself as I never have before. I must begin by creating a new technique, as powerful as the one that carved itself into my chest." While getting beaten up by Adon, Sagat falls in a realization that the hunger he had initially vanished, and needs to take action to find himself as a person and a fighter. Adon attacks Sagat and shouts, "I am the new god of Muay Thai." Out of nowhere, with all his might, Sagat delivers a devastating tiger uppercut to Adon. Sagat tells the defeated Adon, "You can call yourself whatever you like, Adon. I'm fighting for one reason, to regain my honor." Sagat is an original unplayable boss character from the initial Capcom Street Fighter 1 roster. Sagat became playable in upcoming updates of the Street Fighter series. Sagat was a former member of the Shadowloo terrorist organization and personal bodyguard of Bison, originally called Shadow Law, possibly the result of mispronunciation. The Shadowloo is a very powerful and deadly criminal organization that is responsible for dealing with biochemical drugs, mind manipulation, and arms within the Street Fighter universe. Later in the series, Sagat became a good guy and changed his ways, particularly thanks to the help and training of Yoga Master Dalsum. Sagat is of tall, muscular build. His height is 7 feet with 5 inches. His original gear were purple trunks with yellow trims. He also wrapped his hands and feet. He is the 4th tallest character in the Street Fighter franchise, behind the likes of T-Hawk, Hugo, and Abigail. His original design was created by the Capcom team members Takashi Nishiyama and Keiji Inafune. Sagat was the only character from the initial lineup in Street Fighter that was created by another artist. Sagat was born in Thailand, a country in which his style of fighting is very famous. Sagat is known as the Emperor of Muay Thai, in which he is master since his early stages in life. Muay Thai, sometimes referred to as Thai boxing, is a martial art and combat sport that uses stand-up striking, along with various clinching techniques. This discipline known as the Art of 8 Limbs, as it is characterized by the combined use of fists, elbow, knees, and shins. Sagat's iconic stage from the Street Fighter series is located in Thailand, in the city of Ayutthaya. The inspiration for Sagat's stage came from the Ayutthaya ruins. Thailand is a Southeast Asian country. It is known for tropical beaches, opulent royal palaces, ancient ruins, and ornate temples, displaying figures of Buddha. In Bangkok, the capital, an ultra-modern cityscape rises next to quiet canal-side communities and the iconic temples. Thai culture and traditions incorporate a great deal of influence from India, China, Cambodia, and the rest of Southeast Asia. Thailand's national religion, Theravada Buddhism, is central to modern Thai identity. Just 49 miles from the city of Bangkok, Ayutthaya is one of the oldest cities in Thailand. Also known as the Siamese Kingdom, Ayutthaya was once one of the world's largest cities. Its former glory came to a halt when the Burmese in the 18th century destroyed the city. Ayutthaya ruins in the present demonstrate a glimpse of its former glory and beauty. Set on an island at the confluence of 3 rivers, the archaeological site features Buddhist monasteries, temples, palaces, and statues. The area where Sagat Stage is located contains the statue of a reclining Buddha. A reclining Buddha is an image that represents Buddha lying down, and it is a major iconographic theme in Buddhist art. It represents the historical Buddha during his last illness. The statue of the lying Buddha in Sagat's stage is modeled after the inspiration of the Wat Lokayu Sutharam statue, located in the Ayutthaya Historical National Park in Thailand. Wat Lokayu Sutharam, also known as Phra Nun, is assumed that it was built in the middle of the Ayutthaya period in the reign of King Samchao Pharaya, around 1995. This temple has the largest reclining Buddha image in the island of Ayutthaya. Phra Nun is enshrined in an outdoor brick building with a length of 42 meters and 8 meters high. There are lotus lobes supporting the head instead of the crown. Phra Nun was originally a Buddha image. In the year 2499, there are 24 octagonal brick pillars, all of which originally would have been built to cover the reclining Buddha statue. During the beginnings of Street Fighter II, Sagat used the ancient ruins of the Ayutthaya for sasen and spiritual training. Sasen is a meditative discipline that is typically the primary practice of the Zen Buddhist tradition. The meaning and method of sasen varies from school to school, but in general, it can be regarded as means of insight into the nature of existence. In Street Fighter World Warrior, the statue appears white, with a palm tree decorating the area. In the Champion Edition, they recolored the statue into a bronze tone, and the palm tree in the foreground was eliminated. In Super Street Fighter, the statue remains with the bronze color, but the background setting reveals a much more detailed landscape of the Ayutthaya ruins over a red sunset. In Street Fighter Alpha, Warrior's Dream, Sagat's stage looks from a different perspective. The sleeping Buddha's feet seem to be facing forward, with his head at the other end. In the Street Fighter Alpha 2, the statue looks bigger, with its face facing forward, and has a different angle than from the previous games. Sagat's stage contains pillars scattered from the Ayutthaya ruins. In Street Fighter Alpha 3, the stage also dictates a sleeping Buddha in its background, with its face more inclined to the middle of the stage. In Street Fighter V, the stage is renamed as the King's Court, which retains most of the characteristics of the previous Street Fighter games. The story behind Sagat's Eye starts in the prequel of the Street Fighter storyline. Sagat, as a Muay Thai kickboxer, was an undefeated martial arts champion in the Asian region of Thailand, region in which he is native to. At that time, Sagat was also working for the Shadowloo, a high-level deadly criminal organization specialized in biochemical drugs and weapons. As a henchman for M. Bison, leader of the Shadowloo, he enters the organization as one of the 4 Heavenly Kings, a ranking system of the top 4 henchmen used by M. Bison. Sagat was specializing in running Bison's central operations in the Asian region of the world. By this time, the Shadowloo was big on the streets. Sagat was beginning to have power in the underworld. In the Street Fighter Udon comic book named Street Fighter Legends, under the Chun-Li series, Chapter 2, it describes the beginnings of Sagat as a bully, threatening store owners for ransom, and taking control of every aspect of business in the Hong Kong area. At the same time, Chun-Li was graduating from the Hong Kong Police Academy and had a special operation investigation against the Shadowloo, the same criminal organization that Sagat was involved with. In one of the events, Sagat's henchmen were directed to take control of a dojo by the downtown area of Hong Kong. The henchmen arrived to the dojo to bully the dojo's owner into collecting a 10,000 Hong Kong dollar bribery fee for the Shadowloo. The owner of the dojo, not giving in to their demands, retaliates against them. By using his martial arts skills, he manages to defeat Sagat's henchmen and manages to save his dojo, for the meantime.
That retaliation brought the attention of Sagat himself. Disrupted by the news, Sagat would take matters into his own hands. The Emperor of Muay Thai would not simply get dishonored that way. His personality is stereotypical of a powerful, strong-willed fighter. He arrives at the dojo, looking for the owner of the establishment, to clear out the problem right then and there. Understanding the situation, Go Hibiki, owner of the dojo, confronts the Emperor and his demands. Go Hibiki challenges Sagat to a martial arts duel, defending himself from the torment of his henchmen and the king of Muay Thai himself. He faces the wrath of Sagat's overpowering strength and loses the fight. Or so it seems, when with a catch of breath, Mr. Hibiki kicks Sagat in the face, destroying its opponent's eye. In retaliation of that blow, Sagat killed Go Hibiki with a tiger shot, destroying Mr. Hibiki in front of his son, Dan Hibiki. After this event, Sagat escapes and goes to the nearest hospital to take care of his eye. Having a feeling that the Hong Kong Police Department was following his trail, he proceeds to escape from the hospital. As he goes back to his gym, he takes his eye bandage off and changes it for his iconic eye patch. Sagat ran away, never to be charged for the murder of Go Hibiki. By now, we recognize that Go Hibiki is the father of Dan Hibiki, an iconic Street Fighter character and a disciple of Goken, Ken, and Ryu's martial arts master. Go Hibiki was from Japan. Later in life, he moved to Hong Kong to start a new life. According to the Shadowloo character profile, his fighting style is based on the Genkasapo Buraiken, which is a street fighting style based on the principles of karate, which translated means quarrel killing method, ruffian fist. One of its famous techniques is the Shoten Buraikyu, a finishing move which delivers multiple powerful knee strikes to the opponent's face, which is one of Go Hibiki's elite moves. Go Hibiki's design is based as a parody of the popular SNK character of Mr. Karate and his trademark Tengu mask. Tengu masks are based on the fearsome demigods who protect the mountains. These demon-like creatures are depicted with red faces and angry expressions. The Tengu mask's most noticeable feature is its red skin, with a wide double chin and a long nose. Tengu masks are mainly used for no stage plays and certain Shinto festivals. Early designs of Go Hibiki has him wearing the Tengu mask, but later changed into giving the character its long nose and marked chin. It is rumored that his red big nose appearance is from being hit on the face repeatedly over the years. From what has been known, Go's personality was one of a brave warrior who would not let injustices happen around him. He was also a friendly human being. In the Street Fighter universe, he will be remembered as a fearless warrior that challenged injustice and a friendly, loving person that loved to drink and sleep from time to time. As promised, we in the Street Fighter universe would like to recall one interesting fact about Sagat that some of you might not know. It's indeed a very peculiar detail about the Muay Thai king himself. Sagat's character is one of great muscular build and tall persona. Because he is 7 feet 5, Sagat is the 4th tallest character in the whole Street Fighter universe, coming behind from the likes of T-Hawk, Hugo, and Abigail. Have you ever asked yourself, why is Sagat so tall? The answer may lie in the result of him suffering from gigantism disorder. Gigantism disorder, in definition, is a rare condition characterized by excessive growth and height significantly above what an average person might be. In humans, this condition is caused by the overproduction of the growth hormone during the early stages of childhood. A rare disorder, resulting from increased levels of growth hormone before the fusion of the growth palate, which usually occurs at some point soon after puberty. In this episode, we have discussed the origins of Sagat and his involvements in the Shadowloo organization. We have witnessed how Go Hibiki had destroyed Sagat's eye, and how Sagat retaliated by killing him in battle. We have also seen the origins and history of Go Hibiki. Also, we have discussed Sagat's giganticism condition, the condition that gives Sagat's character and persona. Do you think it's fair that Sagat got away with murder? Even though he changed his ways, does Go Hibiki deserve justice?
So what did you like about this episode? Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This has been your Street Fighter host. Welcome to the center stage. By the way, if you would like to donate or simply get us a coffee, we would like to inform you that sure you can at ko-fi.com/streetfighterverse. We are grateful for every single one of you. You guys make this possible, and for that we thank you. Our new Discord server. There you can talk with us, chat about current events going on in Street Fighter, information, theories, and lore. We'll leave the link in the description box below. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and becoming part of this Street Fighter community. We want to thank you for your positive comments towards our channel because it only habilitates us to grow even more. From the Street Fighterverse crew, we thank you.